It was a box, like no box his young eyes had ever seen before, and he studied it with the wide-eyed curiosity of a 7-year-old scientist on the brink of his first grand discovery. There were many unwrapped toys strewn on his teacher's desk that winter morning: model cars and plastic planes, soldiers and boxing robots, a 100-piece puzzle, and more, all awaiting to enchant their new owners, and he was attracted to all of them. But the shine and the mystery of the beautiful gold box had quietly won his main interest. Small, square, and majestically clothed in shimmering bright gift gold paper, adorned by a wonderfully shiny gold bow that ran around its 4 sides, then gathered, tied, and sat atop its lid like the satiny petals of a beautiful gold flower. Of course, he didn't know what was in the box, didn't know exactly what he would find, but he wanted to discover it with the hands of his own experience, and so he waited with anticipation, sat as the morning snow fell outside, its cold whiteness visible from the classroom's windows, waited till the time when Mrs. B's smiling tallness stood in front of them all, the long green chalkboard behind her filled with the white markings of daily math and language lessons. 7 times 7 equals what? Use the word expect in a sentence. And as he waited with full attention, watched Miss B's milky beige hand finding toys on the table, while the other hand went into the plastic red bucket and reappeared with a small scrap of scribbled-on paper, watching her searching eyes, beaming smile, declaring a name like a fairy godmother bestowing a fairy tale blessing. "Yea, dearest child, thou hast been chosen." Hopeful, he sat at his small wooden desk, waiting his turn to be chosen, while he watched his closest desk neighbor, Carlos V., be called up and greedily grab ownership of a very cool-looking, tie-dyed colored top toy, one that whirled around with a rainbow of colors as it traveled up and down the length of a wire track, perpetually spinning and traveling, like the Earth spinning on its axis as it revolves around its orbit. He frowned. Truth was, he had for some months now secretly considered the chubby Colombian boy to be his archenemy. The bad feelings began the day he forgot a snack for snack time, and being a bit hungry, and seeing Carlos opening a cellophane-wrapped 10-pack of vanilla sandwich cookies, the kind with sweet icing between 2 ornately carved wafers, he timidly ventured, "Can I have one?" Years later, he still remembered how his once human classmate devolved, throwing his fleshy arm and full fingers around the snack while pulling away and whisper declaring, "No!" Even as an adult, he never forgot how bad that "no" felt, how it had such a surprisingly strong sting to it. And so now, as he was watching Carlos holding the whirling rainbow device, he couldn't help thinking, that's not how you're supposed to hold it. But then his happiness quickly returned with the knowledge that the magnificent gold box was still available, and by the thought that the beauty of the box demanded that whatever was inside was just as marvelous, if not even more so, than some spinning top toy. Mere seconds later, Mrs. B placed her hand on the beautiful box, and his adrenaline rose. She called out a name, and he set himself to control her will, whispering, "Call my name, call my name, call my..." as she declared, "Miguel S." As if in a dream, tainted by disbelief, the sound echoed in his mind. And still in that dream, he smiled, stood on slightly shaky legs, received the gold box, returned to his seat, and began to unwrap the beautiful gold wrapping. He exhaled relief and anticipation, unleashed the bow, peeled the paper, opened the lid, and with awesome expectancy reached in and took out, earmuffs. Black earmuffs. Fuzzy black earmuffs. He was awake again. And awake he stared at them, confused more than disappointed more than angry, not really understanding what was happening, what had happened. Instead, almost expecting that somehow someone from somewhere would come and correct this bizarre injustice. Outside, the snow fell, but inside, no one came. Weighed down by his feelings, Miguel glanced to his right, saw Carlos V's smile watching the top whirl. Looked to his left, observed dark-haired Eunice B. contentedly combing the red yarn of a Raggedy Ann doll. Surveyed the room and saw what seemed like every child happily involved in the life of their own toy. Then he turned and took up the earmuffs, put them on his head, pulled them apart and let them go, causing the plastic pieces inside the muff to produce a painful ouching sting as they snapped back onto his head by the side of his ear, making him wince. He removed them, rubbed his neck, his ear, opened his mouth to say something, then closed it again, not sure what to say, not previously acquainted with the discovery of disappointment, with the startling disparity between what is and what seems to be.